You might get an interview the question, write an example of fetching data from API with XML HTTP request. And actually this is a super old question, and normally people should not ask this question nowadays on interviews, but still I'm hearing this question really a lot, because some people still want to know how we solved our fetching problems 10 or 15 years ago. In the modern projects, you will never ever use XML HTTP request natively. This is why it doesn't make any sense to ask this question, but we must learn how to answer it. This is why let's write an example how it is working. So first of all, we must create our XHR request. So this is why we are calling new XML HTTP request. Now we have an instance of our XML HTTP request, and we can say what method we want to send and on what URL. This is why we are writing xhr.open, and as you can see here we have two parameters. First of all, it's method. Here we want to write get because we are making a get request, and here is our API URL. And I will paste here an API URL from github.com to fetch all repositories of this specific user. After this, we are writing xhr.send and round brackets. But it is not all, we also must specify what will happen on success and on error. And for this, we are writing xhr.onload, and here we must assign a function. And inside this function, first of all, you want to check what status we are getting back. So we can write here if xhr.status doesn't equal to 100, which means it is not successful, then we want to console some error. So I want to write here, for example, error plus and maybe xhr status plus and here xhr status text. In this case, we can directly see what problem we have. In other case, we are getting success, so here we will write console log success, and after this we want to read our xhr.response, where inside we have our answer. And we also want to check for the error inside xhr request, so here we can write xhr.onError, and just to remind you, everything is lowercase, and we assign here a function, and inside we can write, for example, console log xhr request failed. So this is how you typically define XHR function. First of all, we create an instance of XML HTTP request, then we make an open with our method and URL, then we write getSend, and then we have onLoad function and onError function to handle both incorrect statuses or an error with a request. Now let's check if it's working. I'm jumping to browser and reloading the page. And as you can see here, we are getting our response and we are getting our console log success. Also in our network, you can see that we have a request, repos, and this is XHR request, and as you can see, this is our preview. So this is our response from the backend, and this means that we successfully implemented our fetch request by using XML HTTP request.